Good evening, everybody. First of all, thanks, Anders, for the invite. Thank you also for sandwiching me between people that did research and wrote books and work at Harvard and a Navy SEAL. I'm just Dave. That's all you get. But truly thank you for not making me the person stand between these people and their cheese. That's rich. I got a couple disclaimers for you. Number one, this slide makes me laugh for a couple of reasons. I'm about to double the slide count for the entire day in 25 minutes. Why it makes me laugh more is the amount of deflation I've seen in this group as there's slides up here and people raise their phone to get the picture just as it goes away. Knowing that this one was coming, you're not going to get a single picture. Also, if you're prone to seizing due to flashing lights, this is a horrible presentation for you and you should probably leave. Go start drinking. Also, I'm not going to tell you anything brand new. Not a single thing tonight. I'm also not going to try to wow you with bright, shiny anything. We tend to do that when we're here at conferences. But instead, what we're going to do is this. We're going to talk about hammering the baseline skills that we need. I have a caveat with this slide. When I gave a talk, I said this 3 times for emphasis really quick. In short order, people start giggling, and I realized what it starts to sound like. So now we're going to talk about mastering the fundamentals. If that didn't make sense, ask your neighbor. The things that we're going to hit today are these. First, the why. Why are we even talking about this? Team dynamics piece. The second is the people that are involved, the teams they make up, what I call the devils, or the things that rip all this to shreds. And then lastly, we'll end on a happy note. I'll tell you the path forward. But first, the why. I had the great pleasure, when I did work in Alaska, of working with the PJs. If you don't know what the PJs are, in our military setup, these are the folks that go in and rescue all of our special operators in combat. So if they get hurt, these are the ones right there, or they get deployed to go deal with them. They have to be good at a bunch of different things, like 50 different things. And we got to train with them. And we kept hammering them. Are you good in combat? You're good at medicine. You're good jumping out of planes. You're good at scuba diving. And they would always come back to this. They are really good at the fundamentals. They're like, we're not great at anything, but we're really good at all of those skill sets. As soon as things get more advanced or too complicated, they back way off from that. And we're like, okay, fine. I like that. That sounds catchy. How do you split your training time? And what they said shocked us. They were like, all right, we split our time between these 2 things. Give me an example of a hard skill, something you do in your job. What's a hard skill? Not what you find difficult. What's an example of a hard skill? IV placement. Yeah, IV placement, tactical skills, right? What are the soft skills in your job? Yeah, dealing with you people. I know that there is some folks in the room that bristle at these terms and they're like, nothing about me is soft. Fine. I don't care what you call it, technical and non-technical skills. But I would argue you this. It is the non-technical skills that are actually the hard skills. So let's take the IV example. Whoever that was that said that, masked man in the darkness back there. You're not good at IVs. We're going to sit here until you're better at IVs. We can rep that, drill that, hammer that into you. Probably by the time we leave work, you'll be better at IVs. Versus me having to tell you, hey, guy in the dark, no one likes you. No one likes working with you. You're chronically grumpy. We avoid you when we see you on the schedule. Let's talk about IVs, if you ask me, any day. So, as we go forward, think about your role in all of this. The real why, though, is this one. This might sting a little bit, but none of us are the best. There's tons of people in this room that are better than us at our own job. There's people in our own institutions that are better than us, and there are people next door that are better than us at our job. That's a good starting point, I think, for the humility that was just talked about. Because ultimately, what we need to know is this. Are you ready for your big day? No matter what your big day is. When it's that, what do we call it, the mega mass casualty? Like, that sounds scary. Or whatever it is that scares you about, hey, the event that maybe we practice or maybe we rep, like, are we ready for that? I had one such event occur a couple summers ago, and we're going to revisit this a couple times. So this is the day. In our country, July 4th is a big day. Something happened that day where we became a great country. So this day is a holiday. July 4th is bonkers everywhere in our country. especially in the national park system. Everyone flocks there. It's like Disney World, except there's animals and mountains that'll kill you. Joyful. 60-year-old male climber comes to the Tetons for his 60th birthday party. Given the fact we're talking about him, you can probably assume it didn't go as planned. Here's the Middle Teton. In the Tetons, there's 3 big mountains. South Teton, Middle Teton, the Grand Teton. This is the middle one, hence the middle name. This thing is about 12,800 feet tall. I think that's 20,000 meters, if I did it right. This is where that guy fell and landed. So we think he fell about 100 meters or 300 feet. See, I got that one right. And somehow he stopped on a 1 meter by 1 meter square, kind of like this thing I'm trying not to fall off. By all miracles, he stopped there. This is us flying by at like Mach 5 because the winds were so bad. We couldn't even slow down the helicopter to get a look at where this person was. But that gives you an idea of the terrain that we're talking about to rescue this guy. That was the teaser. We'll get back to 60-year-old guy later. So the people that we talk about, it is shocking. The only research I did was this. I have found that high-performing teams are made up of high-performing people. There's no such thing as a group of bums that on game day are amazing. Like there's no bobsled team that is like just messing around and then they go to the Olympics in a week and like, we won. That doesn't happen. This guy knows something about that. Anyone know who this is? Oh, wow. In a foreign accent even. I didn't know anyone knew this. I realize there's probably a little like difference here between sports. We're talking about American football. ChatGPT told me this is the difference between your football and my football. Regardless, that guy, Bill Belichick, American football coach, did some things. I asked a group who that was, and someone was like, it's the Subway guy. And I was like, no. He started selling sandwiches after he did. That's the retirement program for big people. But before he did that, before the sandwiches, he won some of those things, which in our country is a big deal. He would say one thing all the time. It was written all over the walls. He would say it in his speeches, do your job. There was probably a couple 4-letter words in there, but he'd say, do your job. And shockingly, all of us have parts of our job that we don't like. There's crappy parts of every job. There's no one that's ever like clocked in at 8, clocked out at 5, and been like, I only did awesome stuff today. That's called vacation. That's not work. Like if you work, then you have things you have to do that you probably don't like, but we still have to do them to do our real job, or maybe the job parts that we really do enjoy. Second thing we got to do for high-performing people is handle stress and deal with it. We get stress from all sorts of places. Oh, I know, I'm not even a doctor, and I'm pretty sure there's more than 2 knees in that picture. And there was no part of my training that teaches us how to deal with, okay, guy broken femur in a tree, like updating his Tinder profile to be like, gonna be in a wheelchair for a little bit as an asterisk. But you know where the biggest source of stress is? I saw it in this interaction. So the far one, devilish grin, no idea where that came from. She's mine. The sullen one, her best friend. Right before this picture was taken, Pip, the one close to me, peed in her ski suit. That's funny. So did my daughter thought so too. So I watched my daughter just poke at her and be like, I'm going skiing. You're not. I'm going skiing on repeat. And I was like, 2 things just kept cycling in my head. Number 1, she must have horrible parents. And number 2, I was like, I've seen this scene play out like every place I've ever worked. And so have you. So we got stress coming at us from all over the place. You've all probably heard, if low enough, it doesn't do anything. If it's too high, we just fall apart. There is some optimal place in the middle, right, where stress is good for us and we perform really well. Don't even try to get that picture, buddy. So, condition white. The military likes to code stress in 5 different colors. On the far side of the screen is your brain. The close side is what's going on in your body. You can see here, not much going on. There, even in the dark, I can see there's like 22 of you right now. Condition white. We're going to move on. Condition yellow. This is a good one. See, I like everything there. I'm prepared. I'm awake. It's where dogs are all the time. I'm ready to run. I'm ready to eat. I'm ready to sleep. I'm ready to catch ball. I'm ready to run again. I'm ready to do whatever. We should probably go to work a little bit more dog-like in the future. Then we push past that. Okay, I like what's going on. It's the best this little brain's ever going to work. Over here, there's some stuff I like. Down towards the bottom, you might need to use some fine motor skills at work, yeah? IV thing, pointing out people that are doing really bad things. Like, we need fine motor skills. So we're starting to see, okay, we're probably past the optimal point for stress. If you're curious, gray looks like this. The one that jumps out to me is that one. Who here, show of hands, has been on autopilot at some point at work? Great. People without your hands up are liars. So the problem with this one is that someone usually needs to pull you out of that. You're not going to be like, hey, wait a sec, I'm like overwhelmed with stress and on autopilot right now. No, that's your buddy being like, Dave, you're being an idiot. Wake up. Then if we shove past that, there's nothing good on this slide. Again, one jumps out at me. Never good to change your pants at work because you got too stressed out by whatever. So what do we need to do? Chill out. We see it all the time in sports. Probably most often we see it in sports. In this game of basketball, what's happening just behind the basket for this guy that's just trying to shoot something that's like 12 feet away? What's going on behind that basket? Well, I'll tell you, if you're not familiar with the sport in America, people are yelling at you, probably cursing at you, waving things. And this guy's like, I just need to make this basket that I've made like thousands of times without all these people back there throwing stuff at me. So what's he do? Big deep breath, shoot it. So this is the point where I see some people rolling their eyes. They're like, oh God, he's about to tell us to meditate at work. I've got a solution for you. I have found that if you just add some military terms in front of it, it's cool all of a sudden. So I don't care what you do, just chill out. Take a deep breath. Go have a cigarette or drink alcohol. I don't care what you do, chill out is the goal here. So we talked about doing your job. We talked about handling stress. And lastly, manage human factors. I have bad news. As long as there's humans involved, this will always be a factor. When we get replaced with robots and drones, probably won't be a problem. But until then, it's going to be a thing. We got to deal with the humans. So back to July 3rd. Remember holiday weekend, 60-year-old guy decided to fall. So the reason he fell, he had gone up and over that mountain. The weather was so bad, they couldn't turn back the way they came. And so they made the decision to go into new terrain on the other side of the mountain that they'd never been in before. That's fine. That's reasonable. They get a little ways down and they find some equipment, some gear to rappel off. Everything goes great. 52-year-old partner that was with him, rappels, no problem. 60-year-old guy rappels, no problem. Then they get to the next anchor that they find. They test it, think everything's great. 52-year-old guy goes, then the 60-year-old guy waits it. He was a little bit bigger. We think probably 30, 40 pounds bigger. As soon as he leaned onto that anchor, it broke. So now he's just tumbling, free fall with a pile of rope down that hill. This is what he fell down. We think 100 meters or so, and again, stopped on that perfect rock. So on my team here, when we're talking about the people, I work for 9-day shifts, and then I go home for 6 days. During my 9 days, I am required to be in the field doing this for 7 of those 9 days. My wife calls it playing. I refer to it as training. And the reason that we have to go do this in the mountains is so that when we're on a rescue, I'm not thinking about this part. I'm not thinking about taking steps and moving on rock and taking care of myself. I'm able to pay attention to the weather and the patient and the things that are going on around me because I'm not so stressed that I'm in terrain that could kill me. And that's the goal behind that piece for us. Let's move on to the team. So as we look at teams, I love this quote that came out of a Chris Hicks paper. They were looking at some different, essentially performance metrics across some trauma systems. And he said, trauma is easy. What we do, the hard skills, that's easy. I'm sorry to tell you. That is the hard thing. I would say no matter what you do, no matter where you are, that is the hard stuff, just like I said before. So at baseline, no matter who is here in this room, you are on a team. There is no one here that's been got the call that either there's a trauma patient out there or one coming, you're like, it's okay, everybody stand down, I'll take this one. That hasn't happened. It is a team sport through and through. No one of us can ever do this job alone or shouldn't be doing it alone. So when we look at team performance, when we evaluate and assess teams, we tend to bracket them in one of three categories. What we find is with these three brackets, moderate doesn't hang around for long. Moderate we tend to see as the least utilized category. That's either teams that are on their way up or unfortunately teams that are on their way down when we look at that. Some of the characteristics, you heard about some of them before. One of them that works really well is this. Be standardized. I don't care what your standard is. It could look like this, but the key piece to your standard is that every single person can do it and do it consistently. It can't just be the 20-year veteran or the 30-year veteran. It has to be the new person that showed up last week, has to be able to do this thing and do it well. Targeted training is the second thing that usually characterizes high-performing teams. I don't know about you, but I remember how I spent some of my paramedic education. Anything that scared me or that I never wanted to see looked a little like this. This seemed like a great use of my time until like a year later, I was going 80 miles an hour down a highway and there's a baby coming out of another person at me. I was like, I probably should have paid attention more to this. But targeted training, this one, if I got a soapbox, it's here. Effective debriefing. We've heard it in a bunch of different talks. What is that? Well, I've seen it done really well, but more commonly, I've seen it done horribly. What we need to have looked at in a debrief is this. All I care about is here. What can I do better? What can you do better? And what can we do better as a team? That's it. That's all that we need to be taken out of there. We spend a whole lot of time patting ourselves on the back. We're like, wow, you were awesome. I was awesomer. Together, that's like infinity awesome. That's great. Let's go have beer and cheese. If no one wants to talk about it, you can always do this. By yourself, bad team dynamics, whatever it is, you can always come away with a couple things on your list of like, hey, I could have done things better. Hey, maybe that person did something way more efficient than I did it. Instead of hating that person, I can just be like, hey, how do you do that so well? This is a really good read about our dislike of discomfort. We live in a world of comfort. We have engineered our lives. Oh, I'm hot, I can be cold. I'm cold, I can be hot. I'm thirsty, fixed. There's water right there. One piece of comfort is that not much growth, not much progression, not much change happens there. Also, where we do tend to see change is with feedback, but I will tell you this, we have an innate hearing problem when it comes to feedback. That innate hearing problem is simplified like this. So, somebody gives me feedback. My innate reaction is the far one, saying, oh, wow, you're talking to me, telling me whatever. My brain is hearing, Dave, you suck. Dave, you're always going to suck. This is your destiny. Be at peace with that. And in reality, he was probably just like, hey, your IV skills suck. Totally fixable, totally correctable thing is usually how it's given, but we hear it the other way. So we need to start hearing it the way that it's intended. Like, hey, this fixable thing, this thing I want to help you with or that I care enough about you to give you feedback on, I want you to change that thing. And then once you get that stuff, just suck a little less, people. If there's one take home, if that question comes up later, what should you take home? Just suck less. That's the question or the answer. So as we click, the fourth thing. So we said standardized, targeted training, debrief well, and then team trust. There is no magic pill for this. This takes time and miles. It takes reps. It takes debriefing. It takes commitment from your team. But the single greatest thing to undermine this, boom. I can guarantee you that on my teams, everybody knows when I screw up, likely before I do. It's like, oh, did you hear what Dave did again? At least we got it on video this time. So this is the way to rip that apart. Hey, just come to me. Be adults. Be the professionals that we say we are. I heard an amazing debrief just 2 months ago now in a format that for whatever reason just clicked with this team trust idea. So the Blue Angels, that's our like demonstration aircraft folks. They go to different parades and events and show off really crazy maneuvers in planes. After every mission or show, and after every training, they debrief. And their format is exactly the same every time. They say 3 things. Those 3 things are oh my gosh, just seized. Oh gosh, I'm like, this is like a preview I wasn't supposed to give you. First, this was my mistake as that Blue Angel. This is what I screwed up. I rolled too soon. I pulled back too hard. I broke away from the group. whatever it was. Then they follow it with the last two. It'll be fixed by tomorrow, and I'm glad to be here. Like, I still want to be here. Those things just blew my mind, especially the second two of like, hey, I'll fix this. You will never see this problem again. And more importantly, I'm glad to be here. I want to be here. I'm going to kick butt to stay here and want to keep doing this thing that we applied for so long ago. So back to July 3rd. Remember, guy fell. Now we're starting to do stuff. So these are our three plans. First one, short haul. You call it long line over here. So fixed length the rope between or below the helicopter. It's fast. It's quick. I like it. Not much work for me. Then the second option was for us to climb up the same thing they did, remember, in the storm. And then the last one, the guaranteed one, was to climb up that snow slope that you saw on the glacier where he fell down towards. So those were our options. We very clearly ruled out option number one. We couldn't even slow the helicopter down. That was not happening. Option number two became the thing for Ken and I. Here's we are. This is actual video of me climbing up there. Things were going great. We're moving. We got dropped down by that snow there and then had to climb up 300 or 400 meters or so to then go on the other side of the mountain. As soon as this video was taken, we came around a corner and it was just icy hell in there. We're like, okay, this is going to be real slow going. So we called everybody else. The next 6 people come in. We're like, go the other way. Go that glacier route. It's longer, but you will get there for sure. And then this happened. Remember, Ken and I moving around, walking, and then, oh my God, I know. It wasn't really that. I put that in there for effect, and it worked. But I did pull a huge rock out, like a refrigerator, American refrigerator size block out. I could have died. At no skill or only luck is what kept me alive that day, period. I know. What saved me? Well, after I kind of saved myself, this guy. Clicker? Hello? Battery? Oh, yeah, Ken. So Ken was my partner that day. This is Ken. Ken is exactly who you want to have on your team. He's the person that's fun to be around. He's skilled. He's competent. Like every day with Ken, you're like, today's going to be okay, no matter what happens. Ken's an amazing human being for so many reasons. This is not one of them. And even worse, he'd be so pissed to know this is going international. But the thing about Ken is really this. This is why you want him there. He is the teammate of all teammates, like the exact person you want when things go well, and especially when things don't go well, like when you pull a big death block out and try to kill yourself. We'll get back to Ken in a moment. The devils. I would say if you're going to take a picture of any slide, it's this one. I'll even leave it there for you to do. These are the things that all of us have inside of us and all of us battle on a daily basis. Period, full stop. We got to fight against these things all the time. Are you done with the pictures? Okay, that was it. The biggest of them is this. Hey, I told you like a minute and a half ago to take that picture. Ego is the enemy. It is an amazing component of our person where it is always trying to convince us we're right. Like in the moment, even while screwing up, it's like, good job, Dave. Although not standard or by protocol, you could be inventing a new procedure right now. Keep going. It's horrible, and there's no good that comes from it. When we look at mindsets of high performers, low performers, the low performers consistently do this. They will look for an excuse all day, every day. Oh, it's Tuesday. I can't train today. Oh, wrong coffee to help with that. We will find an excuse. The high performers, on the other hand, they will barrel roll through any problem. They will go through it, over it, around it, whatever. They will figure that problem out. That is that mindset. On July 3rd, last summer or 2 summers ago, we had a bunch of people figuring it out, like finding that way. This is those other people that we were like, hey, this is going really slow. You should go the longer, horrible drop, like 700 meters and climb back up another 1,000 meters. This is them climbing with like half of a litter on their back. There's other people down low, like horrible. So glad I wasn't on that team. Then this is me showing up. You can see there, yellow helmet. What do you notice in the picture besides me? Ropes. There's ropes right there. Those didn't magically get there. Some of those people on the glacier route beat us there. They were faster and they set up ropes for me. Great. Here's me rappelling into scene. You see another yellow helmet down there. That's Zach. Zach's our young, like, stallion on the team. He's better than us, faster than us at everything. He was there. You see the orange jacket, that's the partner, totally fine. And then the hurt guy, 60-year-old, you want to hear? Left scapula, left humerus, left radius ulna, right femur, right tib fib, and 9 ribs. Yeah, hurt, bad hurt, not happy. This is me rappelling into scene, but I will tell you, to get to this point this day, the biggest thing I had to fight in the devil's list was this. So remember, I pull huge rock, I somehow land on the mountain, and I watch this rock just cascade down for seemed like hours. What do you think my brain was telling me to do in that moment? My ego, my brain. What do you think? That wasn't me. No, yeah. Or some people are like, go home. No, that's not what mine was saying. Mine was go. There's a patient. We got to go. We're on a rescue. Keep going. I can tell you definitively what was in front of me, this just like now wet, muddy, icy nonsense. I would have died if I tried climbing through that. So I sat there and I just waited. I knew Ken would be back in no time. Ken was back probably 30 seconds later. He's like, what happened? I was like, well, I pulled that rock. See that thing that's still falling down there? I pulled that. And then he's like, what do you need? The best question I've ever been asked in a time like this. And I was like, just give me a rope. Like, give me anything to hold on to, because I had nothing down here. But I had to fight this so hard that day to keep myself alive and to actually go be able to help somebody. Because my brain was like, nope, go, having a bad day, whatever, keep going. It's all for somebody else, right? And then the rules. So let's round it out with some happy stuff. First, you got to hire the high performers. Go get them. Go steal them. I have found the next list to be definitive. Forgetting a resume, forgetting pedigree, forgetting whose son or daughter it is, you hire this list of people. You hire that person that's committed to what you do. I'll give you time to take this picture because it's a good one. I want to do what you do. I want to work at that place. I want to do it with that group of people. Second, trainable. I don't care where you came from. You could be 20 years experience or 20 days experience, but you can work to assimilate to our way of doing things. We can train you into how we do it here, even if you got tons of other experience. That's a big one. 3, team player. I'll take that over all these other ones. And last one, intimidating. What do you think I mean by intimidating? We want to hire intimidating people. Someone describe that for me further. Confidence is good. What else?
I want to be like him.
Yeah.
So massively cool.
Yeah, that person, when you're on the interview panel, be like, whoa, that person would get hired before me. Or they're going to take my job. Or they're better than me. Those are exactly who you should hire. Exactly who you should hire. So another disclaimer, I was kind of duped into having children, or a child. It wasn't really, the expectations weren't laid out after the initial act. You got to hire these things, and then turns out you got to do some stuff with them afterwards for quite some time. The same is true of the people that you hire at work. You got to do stuff with them after. Because at the end of their orientation, their whatever we call it, their internship, we want them to have this. You will never be able to train them for every scenario, every possible guy in the tree, on Tinder, broken femur. Like, you're never going to be able to give them every scenario. But what you want them to have is this. You want them to be able to say, yes, I can do this, or no way. I don't have the skills or the team around me to do this today. Where's that come from? Well, unfortunately, we get most of our good judgment when things go sideways. My father-in-law was a huge fan of saying this. So what's that mean in the work setting? Well, we got to let people fail. I'm not talking catastrophic. Put up some guardrails. Hey, we don't want them going over that edge. We don't want them going off that cliff. But in here, we need to let them bounce around a little bit and like bumper bowl their way to do this. Because if I just tell them, like our kids, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, I wouldn't do that, it doesn't work. Perfect example is my daughter. We live on a hilly driveway. For probably a year or a year and a half, she was bugging the hell out of me to ride her bike down our driveway to the street that's flat. And I was like, no. And one day I got tired of it. So what did we do? Helmet, chest pads, arm pads, knee pads, let her rip. 20 feet later, hit the tree that I knew she would hit. Best part of that story, she has never asked me to ride down the driveway again. Same thing is true of the people that we work with. Like, we got to give them some chest pad and a helmet and like let her rip. Like, we don't want patients to die. We don't want us to die, but we can do some stuff in the middle to give them that judgment. We say this all the time in training. I don't want anybody crawling at work. I don't even know what this means. But what I think it means is give them a shot. Give those committed, trainable, team player, intimidating people, give them a job. Then after that, give them standards, training, equipment, give them feedback, and then recycle that. But I will warn you this, we are often very resistant when this isn't going well, so we get through our process, we get through our orientation, it's just not working. What do? Well, let's start over. Let's reorient and reorient and reorient. And we're just like stuck on that cycle, like the spinning wheel of death on your computer. At some point, it's time to do this and be like, you know what? Not a good fit, not good for here, not good for this team. Let's pull the plug. Because I said before, that difference between the you suck, that suck, sometimes they do suck. When the bucket of that sucked fills up, then it's like, you know what? Maybe this isn't for you. So we have two choices with those people. We can either have them get back on the horse and be like, yeah, let's do this thing. Or, hey, maybe there's something better for you to do here, something that fits you better, fits your skill set or your interest better. But we are really resistant to aborting, especially when we put time into people. So back to July 3rd to wrap this story up. That's me flying off into the sunset with the patient. How did I get there? Remember, Zach was there first. Well, when I showed up, Zach was doing all kinds of things. And I was like, well, I might not be as fast as you, but I'm smarter. So I'm like, start clipping myself to the patient. And then a short while later, we hear over the radio, hey, weather's better. Helicopter's going to come back with the line and give it a try. And then Zach looks at me, he's like, who should go? And I just looked at all the connection points. I was like, well, I'd hate to undo those 2 carabiners. That took me 12 seconds. It seems pretty obvious. That should be me, and you should stay here, buddy. So that's me flying off in the sunset, coming down to people that can actually fix some of that stuff, get them to the hospital, get them to you people. But no part of the story I just told you has anything to do with this. I was the worst that day. I was the slowest. I tried to kill myself. I barely made it to the scene alive. And yet, I got to do the glory job that day. So what's the take-home message? Just be shady behind your coworkers' backs. In the end, it's a team sport. I would have never gotten there that day without those people up there giving me ropes. If I showed up by myself, I would have been like Zach, doing all the other stuff while some other creep is over there just clipping himself in, ready to go be in the newspaper. What did Ken get for his valiant efforts that day? He got to walk home. I was down, dinner time, went to bed normal hour with my family. Those sad suckers didn't get home till 2 a.m. I know. 2 days later, I had to walk off a rescue, so don't feel bad about him. He deserves that. So I could have done 100 and whatever number of slides in 2 slides, and they are these. In addition to the PJs, I've gotten to work with a bunch of different special operator groups. One of them in particular, there was this guy on this team, and every day he's scribbling all sorts of things down in his notebook. And on the cover of the notebook, it had a list. And one day I was like, what is on there? What's that say? He's like, oh, that's the list. And for me, it was this list. And if I had to encapsulate everything I just told you, this is it. This is the picture to take. I will leave it there. I know there's people like, I'm not even going to bother. First, own it. Own all of it. Own your nonsense. Own your mistakes. Own your team's mistakes. Own it all. Ego has no place, does no good, period, full stop. Just get rid of it. Every time you're reacting out of emotion or feel yourself getting hot about something, that's ego talking. Just kill it. Get rid of it. I love that I have heard countless times in the last couple of days, simplicity. Keep it simple. As soon as we get complicated with stuff, then we don't usually perform it as well. Last, focus. Be on your task. Be ready to roll. Be trained and ready for that big day. And lastly, you got a team. You can't be perfect every day. You will never be perfect. But when you have 4 or 5 people around you, that is team dynamics. That's the list right there. Because in the end, you got to answer this question when you go back to work. Hey, am I ready for that big one? Am I ready for the scary, creepy, mega story thing that someone told me here? Am I ready for whatever the big scary is at my place? Am I ready? Is my team ready? Are we ready for that big day? That's what I've got for you, peeps. Thank you.